What's going on, my Yetis? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm gonna teach y'all a little bit about financing for property in Belize. Spoiler alert, there's really not much of it here. All right, to start things off, guys, down here in Belize, there is very limited institutional financing when it comes to purchasing property for foreigners. Now, as a resident of the country or a citizen, it's a bit easier to qualify for financing. So if you are a resident looking for real estate and looking for financing on that here, you can acquire that through another process. If you want more information on that process, shoot me an email. I'm also providing this PDF for free. So if you're curious about more information on financing down here, shoot me an email. I'll send that to you right away. So first things first is Belize as a country keeps a high reserve ratio in their central bank. So this is something that the government practices in order to keep a more stable real estate market here. What you generally see in Belize is that we are a cash market. So when it comes to property values, we tend to see during fluctuations in other markets like the United States or in Canada, we see a more stable market here. For example, in 2008, when we had the crisis back home in the United States, there was a massive sell-off of real estate, huge property valuation declines. And in 2008, this was actually one of the biggest years for investment in the country of Belize. We also saw something very similar during the pandemic when people were panicking and things were looking very shaky in the United States and other first world countries. We saw here a huge growth in investment. So from 2020, that was the biggest year in investing history of the country of Belize. So this is a place where people come to find a more stable real estate market. So one downside about not having financing is obviously that there's a barrier to entry into our marketplace. So really you need to have a healthy amount of cash in order to get into the properties that you're gonna wanna own down here. So in certain situations, there are what we call seller financing transactions. And in those transactions, you have a range of terms that you'll find. In general, you're looking at around 30 to 50% down, somewhere between 6 to 10% interest depending on the property, and a general term of 2 to 5 years. Sometimes you'll see 10. Occasionally, you'll also see developers providing private financing. So if you're working within a development and you're looking to purchase property in a private development, it is possible that you'll find some longer term financing in those areas. Another note on the seller financing is that you generally will see a amortization schedule. So sometimes you'll have a term defined for 5 years and you will have that payment amortized over say 10 to 20 years. And what that does is it lowers the monthly payment for the buyer and it creates what's called a balloon payment at the end of the term where a large lump sum will become due. So when you're purchasing via seller financing, just be aware that there are some flexible terms that you can negotiate along the way and that each transaction is going to be a little bit different. But overall, when it comes to a financing deal, just like any other, the title will not transfer into your name until you've fully funded that property. So during that time, you will have rights to the property as the owner, but you're also not gonna have the outright title ownership until you paid that loan off in full. In general, there are no prepayment penalties when it comes to paying off a seller financing note. So just know that if you want to pay the property off sooner and get that title transferred over, you can generally do that without paying any fees. Now, I've been living in Ambergris Caye for 8 years and I've seen the country and the island grow so much. There's so much investing going on in this island. Most of the large brand names have come here to our island for investing. You've got Six Senses that's coming up out near Secret Beach, the Hilton, the Marriott, Margaritaville, and Best Western. There's a couple other ones that are being floated around as well right now. So Ambergris Caye is a really, really strong investment market. and it definitely creates more competition. So as a cash buyer, you're gonna have more leverage and you're gonna have more flexibility on purchase price and things of that nature. If you wanna come down and find a deal, having cash is king, just like anywhere else. But having said that, as your real estate agent, I'm more than happy to help find financing if you need it from sellers down here. So I hope this is helpful. I hope you're able to get a little value out of this video. If you did, hit that like and subscribe button. I'm gonna bring you more content like this to help educate you guys in the purchasing process down here in Belize. And I look forward to seeing you down here soon.